Hi, I'm Renee Tucci, and today we're going to be creating a classic dozen roses arranged. Okay, for this design, we're going to be creating the classic, round, timeless dozen roses arranged. I have another video where I used the same exact materials and I did it in a more contemporary cascade style. I'll drop a link for that down below. But to get started, we are going to use this urn-shaped vase. It's got a flare at the top, and that's how you get that beautiful flared shape on your design. If you use a more cylindrical vase, that constricts your stems to be more upright, and it's difficult to get that flare. So set yourself up for success if that's the look you're going for by using a vase that has a flared top. Now I have somewhat prepared just about all of my stems here, so this should go pretty quickly. That is an important step as you're designing. Once you're completely prepared, everything goes very quick. So I'm going to be using several types of greenery here in this design. The first will be a palm leaf. You can see just a typical areca palm, and everything should get a fresh cut. Let me move my trash bucket here. Always handy to work into a trash bucket. It makes your cleanup much simpler at the end of your day. So I'm taking my stems and working them into each other here. Now, this is a technique called lacing, and that's when you take one stem and you strategically work it into, you weave it or you interweave it into the parts of another stem. And the more that you do that, the more it starts to create a tangled web. And that's what creates inner structure in the middle of your arrangement. So you can see now that I lift one leaf and several of them come up. So we've got several palm leaves already in here. I'm gonna move on to a large flat fern. And again, I'm gonna lace these leaves strategically into the little fronds of the palm leaves in our understory. And I'm working my way around here so that we're getting a real radial style design where it looks like everything is radiating out from the center as if spokes on a wheel, a rays of the sun. I want to add just a few large leaves, so I've got a philodendron leaf here. And that's going to build out our base. And then I have a second one that I'll add in more towards the center. So I'm starting to build in now. And I've got 3 smaller monstera leaves. And that's giving us a completely different texture. Okay, we already have several types of foliages in this vase. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm actually going to add a 5th. This is an olive leaf, and it's a completely different type of greenery, a much smaller leaf, a little bit softer, and it's got that beautiful gray undertone on the back side. So it's adding another layer to our color harmony, introducing another shade of green for us to admire. And I'm adding these more towards the center of the vase, and I'm using the natural arch of the olive to branch out and help us again reach that radial look that achieve that radial look that we're going for here. And I'm just doing a little what they call spot and dot, a little bit here, a little bit there, so that we have even distribution. And now, because we have so many stems tangled into each other here, right about the now is the point where I have to start paying attention to where my stems are going a little more carefully. Because if you're not careful, you could just push it in and cause other stems to sink in within the water, and that would push some leaves and some debris into the water, which we want to avoid at all costs, because that will they will drop off the stem, they will degrade in the water, and that will cause bacteria to go into the stems and cause your flowers to die prematurely. So this arrangement is getting a little big, so you might see me hopping in and out of the screen here. But next up, I want to add my filler. And so you can see I'm doing all of the larger items first, and then I'm going to add my roses. That way, by the time I get to the roses, they're going to stay exactly where I put them. So I've got some beautiful purple statice here. This is a great workhorse for the floral industry. It's extremely consistent, it dries beautifully, it comes in lots of colors. It gives you a real true purple punch. There are very few flowers that give you such a purple punch. So I just love statice. And also it's multi-branched. So again, this will help with our lacing, and it will help support our single stem roses when we get to them. So I'm going to start to add this in the center and the sides, just to build a bed for our roses to go into. Now, as you're adding your statice in, don't be afraid to physically separate some of the layers of foliage and add your stems in between them to create more volume and open up some more space there. That's going to help really fill out your design. Okay, got one more piece, I'll add it in. All right, so giving her a spin, we've got a nice, beautiful base to add our roses into. Now, as you may have guessed, I have a dozen roses here, and I just wanted to show you, if you happen to buy your roses in a grower pack, say from a local floral wholesaler or a produce market, you will actually get two different heights of roses. That's how growers pack them. So you'll see that one layer is taller than the other. And I like to separate those out and know which ones I'm working with first, so that I don't accidentally use all the tall ones, cut them short, and then I have the short ones left that don't have the height that I need. So I'm just going to give my shorter roses a tiny trim, always on an angle, and I'm going to start adding these around the perimeter. And just as I did with the statice, I'm going to physically separate the outer layer so that I still have greenery breaking the lip of the vase, but I'm able to get that rose on a beautiful angle coming out, helping to create the radial look we're going for. Okay, I have my first 6 in, my half a dozen, and they're completely surrounding the perimeter on the lower level. Now I'm getting ready to add in my upper level, the second set of 6 that is a little bit taller naturally. So again, just a tiny trim on the edge of each stem on an angle, so that not only does it help with water absorption when you cut the stems on an angle, but it also helps pierce through the mass of stems that we have going on in the center. Because at this point we have quite a bit going on in the center of our vase. And don't be afraid to, as you see me doing, twist your stems as you're lowering them down into the center, or even slight motions of up and down till you can get it right into the heart of the vase. That will help work it through the mass without really jostling it, or, as I said before, pushing some of the leaves down into the vase. We want to try to avoid that. So if you're going in and you feel a lot of resistance and you just know you're not going to get through, just back out, move a smidge to the left or the right, and reposition until you can get the flower head exactly where you want it, while still allowing the stem to break through the center and get down into the water. Okay, so that is 12 roses arranged. And you know what? I'm going to adjust this and just move this into our top center. There we go. We've got a beautiful dome shape to this arrangement. I am going to add a few branches of Pussy Willow coming right out of the top center of this design. That's going to be a little bit off camera, so I'll do that and you'll have to take a look at that in the finished photo that's coming up at the end of this video. I just wanted to quickly touch on the fact that what I used in this design were orange roses and purple statice, and that was on purpose. Orange and purple work so well together, and if you think about it, on the color wheel, orange and blue are complementary, and complementary colors always work really well together. Blue and purple are just one step apart on the color wheel, so they're almost complementary, and that explains why these two colors work so well together. You get a really great contrast, and it's a beautiful color harmony. So I hope that you've learned a tip or technique from this video, and that you are inspired to go on and create. Have a great day.